Me. Welcome everyone to the workout. We're gonna just stand up tall and swing our arms. Stand up tall, swing your arms back and forth. There's one now, a puppy, small, close by, giving us hope. Kira, I believe your hoodie is giving me some hope. They're very cozy. Thank you, Hannah, for getting some sweet merch in, even in a time of adversity. Music can sometimes give you hope. If you have started music, great, you're probably listening to something really wonderful and cool. We have a fun workout today. We have some longer sets of some glute focused exercises, and then we have a sweet little 12-minute AMRAP that is going to, I'm excited about it personally. I'm a weirdo though. This is what I do for fun and for my career. Let's go ahead and hold our arms out front. We're just gonna roll the wrists and do that little step touch. Just get a little bit of movement in the lower body before we jump into our written warm-up. Activating a little bit here. The hip stuff, thinking about being nice and strong in the core, stretching up tall through the top of the head, squeezing in around the spine with our strong core muscles. Switch directions with the wrists if you haven't. And then let's go ahead and set the feet next to each other, feet together, knees together. We're just gonna set the hips back, and then we're gonna do some little circles here with the knees right over the ankles. Yes, perfect. Small range of motion. And then let's go ahead and switch directions. And let's go ahead and just roll that up to standing. Roll the shoulders a few times. And then we're just gonna do a couple nice casual butt kickers here. Just getting a little bit of length through the quads, get some full range of motion in the knees before we get too far into other stuff that we're gonna do. We are gonna start with 10 kneeling squats. I'm gonna show you what that is in just a second here. But having a pad of some sort for your knees will be nice for these. If you do not wanna do kneeling squats, it just doesn't feel right on your knees. Sometimes I can do these, sometimes I can't. Sometimes there's something going on in my knee that just precludes me from being able to do these comfortably. You could do narrow squats for these kneeling squats instead, and then you could do fairly wide squats for the air squats that we're gonna do next. So we're gonna do 10 kneeling squats. So one approach to these is kneeling, getting neutral through the hips, and I'm just setting my hips back into my heels and then standing up from there. I can have my toes tucked under to sort of reduce the range of motion, or I can have my tops of my feet flat, and that's gonna help increase the range of motion a little bit. So take these first couple slow and just sort of noodle around a little bit. Make sure that your knees are feeling like they're in a good spot. Actually pressing your knees out a little bit might help give them somewhere to go. So it's still that feeling of like we're trying to spread the knees apart just a little bit in our squat. If that helps, great. If it doesn't, also great. Again, if these are just not gonna work for you today, just a narrow stance squat is a great place to be. That's probably 10. Y'all have been doing a bunch of them there. Now we're gonna stand up for just some air squats. So wider stance, if you did a narrower squat, you're gonna move to a wider stance. Otherwise, just about shoulder width distance. Feet pointed as close to forward as you can comfortably squat in. Getting tight through the front of the body first, setting the hips back as your first step. We're just gonna do this a little bit together. And then pressing the knees out just enough to keep the weight really balanced right through the center of the foot. Let's just take the first one nice and slow. Take a moment at the bottom, noodle around, squeeze back up. We're just gonna do that 9 more times. Take your time on these first ones, 10 total, working towards a nice full depth. Spend a moment at the bottom on each squat. In this first set, we're gonna do this whole series 3 times. So you're gonna see it twice again. Feel free to vary your stance on the subsequent rounds if you want to go wider or narrower, or try to turn those toes in just a little bit more on the remaining ones. Great. It's good to have some variety. All right, then we're going to do 20 steps in bear crawl. So one way to do this would be elevated, just having the hips up and just lifting opposite hand and foot. 20 times total. If you can be down in like a down dog position, you can lift same side or opposite side if you want. If you actually want to crawl around, great. There's not a real whole lot of technique to this. 20 total, so don't worry about like doing 20 per side or anything. Nice, make good use of the space that you have. Just trying to spend some time, and you can play around with getting the knees a little bit closer to the floor versus having the butt a little bit higher. All right, back to the top, back to 10 kneeling squats. Feel free, if you really want to move ahead faster than I'm gonna move, or feel free to do as many of these as you want to in the time that I'm doing my 10, 10, and 20. 10 kneeling squats, 10 air squats, 20 steps in bear crawl, twice again. Nice. Jen, I love that you are drinking coffee while you're doing this warm up. It's like, that's giving me hope, just like casual coffee drinking at the beginning of the warm up. Yeah. Nice. Continue to take your time on these squats. Spend a moment in the bottom. Again, vary your stance a little bit. Maybe you go a little wider. That's where I need more warm up, is a bit of a wider squat. So I'm gonna spend some time in that wider squat. I might try to get my feet more towards straight ahead. I'm gonna just allow myself to press into the bottom on each squat. Yeah, nice, looking good, everybody. And then 20 steps in bear crawl, whatever that's gonna look like for you. I can go in a little circle. Back to the top when you're done with that. Kneeling squats once again, or that narrow squat. Looks like everybody's having success with this kneeling squat. Nice. Ankles are getting some good range of motion work here. Knees are getting good full range of motion work. Nice. It's like we're a video of someone at a tea ceremony stuck on a loop. It's like, oh, we're done with the tea ceremony. Oh, no, 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 what's going on? 10 more air squats. Nice. Finishing strong with those 20 steps in bear crawl. Moving or static. Play around with that lower hip alternative if you like. It can be a fun way to get the core really involved. Ooh, yes. All right. Grab a quick drink, whatever you need to do here to get yourself ready for part 2. Glute extravaganza, the butt burner. Glute extravaganza, the butt burner. That's what it's called from now on. We're gonna do 90 seconds of only 2 exercises, one of which we're gonna do twice. That's a long time to do anything. Too long, in fact. So take breaks. We're only doing 2 rounds. So the goal here is to do something that's hard enough that you just really don't want to do it for that whole time. And we find some moments of muscular fatigue. We do not want that muscular fatigue to turn into variation from a neutral spine. So the temptation is going to be to allow this to happen. We're going to work really hard to keep that from happening with these strong core muscles that we've been working on. So I'm just going to show the movements really quickly, and then we're going to get into it. Glute pulse on the right. So from this tabletop position, very natural to want to just do this. Arch to the back. We're going to try to keep this drawn in. And we're going to really attempt to not let that go as we reach the heel to the ceiling and then pulse. Really, really easy to just let that ratchet down over time. But we really want to be careful with that. It does not matter how high our heel goes, because where our pelvis is will determine how high that heel is, and we want that pelvis to be in line with the rest of the low back. So that's one. Frog pumps are the other. Soles of the feet together, knees splayed out wide, and then I'm just bridging up. You can pulse at the top. You can do full range of motion floor to that top. Again, still, even though it's not gravity, the temptation is to let the belly button lead, the navel lead, and really arch through the back to get up. We want to reverse that. Tailbone should be the first thing off the floor. And we want to hold that tucked tailbone position through that range of motion. 90 seconds each. We're going to start with the glute pulse on side A. You get to decide what side A is. We're going in 10 seconds. No breaks between these, but you do get to break as you like. 2, 1, core on, squeeze. I recommend a nice slow pulse. That's going to help you feel that little range of motion better. It's also going to keep you from getting lulled into just a bouncy motion that turns your core off. Yeah, oh, it's already burning. It's already burning. Now remember, when I said this was too long, 90 seconds is too long. I'm going to give you the halfway. If you decide I need to switch it halfway, great. If you decide I just need to take a little break at halfway, also great. Otherwise, break whenever you need to. Here it is. Halfway, halfway. If you take a little break, be sure to reset your spine into that strong, almost hollow body position. And sometimes it can be necessary to come all the way down to reset that pelvis and low back in the position that you want it to be in. We're getting close now. About 15 seconds remaining. Maybe you feel this more in your hamstring or your calf. You can switch to a pointed toe if that helps. 4, 3, right into frog pumps. 2, 1, frog pumps. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. Shoulder blades walk together. Tailbone first thing off the floor. Squeezing up, pulsing at the top if you want, or all the way down to the floor. But we do want that tailbone to be first up, last down. Keep that arch out of the low back. Keep the low back neutral. So there should be an arch in the low back, but it just shouldn't be excessive. Woo-hoo-hoo. If you are tight through the inner thigh, this is going to be gnarly. Here's halfway. Take a little break if you need to. Remember, all the way down to the floor and back up if you need that little rest moment. And if that bigger range of motion feels good, pulses at the top are a good way to get this just smoking. We're going to head to glute pulses on side B here in just a bit. 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's that quick change. Get it if you can. Ooh. Again, feel free to point your toe if you want. If that feels better, if that allows you to take some of the stress off of your calf and hamstring, great. We are focused on that glute activation and that core activation, squeezing in around the low back. Nice. I personally forgot to go slow with my pulses there for a while, so I'm recommitting to that slow, controlled movement. Here we go. Halfway. Nice, Kira, looking good. Nice control there. Nice, Emily. Nice, strong alignment in the back. Smooth movement. Nice, Mart. Also good, strong alignment. Looking good. Nice, Nick. Don't be afraid to double down on that core squeeze. We're getting close. We're getting close. Squeeze. For 3, 2, 1. Ooh, do whatever you need to calm that down. Yeah, I like what Marit's doing there. A little bit of a child's pose. I'm gonna do a little bit of a squat squeeze here. Let's take this minute and a half that we have to get ready for our next thing that we're gonna do. We're gonna do push press, squat cleans, plank transfers, and sit-ups. So a little bit of time noodling around in an overhead position is gonna be nice. Some air overhead press. Probably the best thing you could do is some SATS press. Oh yeah, a little squat to overhead. Yeah, double down. Spend a little time noodling around in your squat here. Spend a little time warming your shoulders up to that overhead position. I like circles overhead. That always feels pretty good to me. But also let yourself rest and know that we are going again in about 30 seconds. So, you know, we'll have a little bit more time to warm up to those next movements. But you know, if you can do one thing, be efficient, right? You need to turn your music up a little bit to get through this next round of glute extravaganza, the butt burner. Please feel free. We are going in 2, 1. Squeeze the navel up towards the spine and then squeeze that heel up towards the ceiling. Slow motion pulses are great. Try to keep the movement out of the pelvis, tipping forward, and have it just be in that strong squeeze through the glute. Yes. Yes, nice, Nick. Nice and still on the pelvis. Nice, Kira. You got it. Just being in this position for 90 seconds might get very uncomfortable. There we go. Halfway, halfway. Again, take a little break. Switch sides if it really feels better to only do one side for half. But again, our goal is to find that moment of muscular fatigue, which is a signal to our body to build our butt. Build some butt. I don't care what my butt looks like personally. I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. But I want strong glutes. Sprinting, jumping, hill climbing, deadlifting. 4, 3, frog pulses in 2, 1. Get it. I also want my core to be strong. Squeeze that belt of muscle nice and tight in around the low back. Nice. I can't really see anyone, but I know you're all doing great work down there. Here's halfway. Ooh. Setting it down, recommitting to that tailbone tucked up just slightly, and then getting back into it is a great way to make sure you're working in a position that is strong. We're getting close. 15 seconds. Keep breathing. Other side glute pulse in 4, 3, 2, 1. Set yourself up strong first and squeeze it out. Yes. Nice, Jen. Nice strong squeeze. Nice, Mark. Nice controlled movement. Why is my entire body shaking? Could it be that this is harder than it seems like it should be? Halfway. Keeping your core active and protective for 90 seconds times 6 is no mean feat. Nice, everybody. Finish strong here. Recommit to that strong position. "15 seconds. Yes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Do what you need to do to feel good after all that. Take a moment, grab a drink, get your weights handy. We're going to get into our workout here shortly. I'm going to start previewing the movements. Practice these with me so you too can be nice and warm. We have a 12-minute AMRAP. We're doing a rep progression of 10, 15, 20, 25 for the 4 different movements, so that can help you remember those reps, 10, 15, 20, 25. We are starting with 10 push press. If you have a single heavy weight that is better in one hand than in 2, you can do these on one side. You could do your whole thing on one side and then switch for your next round. You could also break it up 5 and 5. For the 15 squat cleans, that's going to be 8 and 7 or something. So, play around with that as you like. So for our push press, reminder, we're dipping just a little bit. So just make sure you're warm to this position and this movement. It's very small. Ideally, feet are pointed straight ahead, and we're kind of pushing our knees out towards the pinky toes. That will keep them from collapsing in together, which is what they want to do if we don't give them a happy place to be. So it's that dip, drive, dip, drive. It's just like 2 inches. And then we're going overhead, catch, pop. Again, if you have a single weight, you could be using a kettlebell or whatever, dumbbell on one side, dip, drive. If you need to stop in between, great. Try to dip and then drive quickly into that press. Once you kind of practice this a little bit, you'll be able to catch that weight on the way down and go right into your next rep while keeping everything balanced in your foot. Again, switching sides. Yes, if you have that sandbag, that's a great thing to use two-handed. Otherwise, if you have 2 balanced weights that are going to feel good to you, you can use those as well. Dip drive to that double overhead. 10. And then we're going to do squat cleans. So for our squat clean, it just means that we're going from this hang position, either single weight or double weights, Double weights are probably going to feel best outside the knees, but again, variation for what you like. You can be in this hang position. We're going for that full extension, even up onto the balls of the feet. But then we're trying our best to catch in the squat. If you're sort of new to this sort of stuff, if you have a single weight, you're probably between the legs. Just trying to find that moment of a full extension, getting really tall, and then catching your clean, and then finding your way to that squat can be a good way to sort of build confidence in the move. So dip, drive, catching in the squat. For a kettlebell, you've got to do that little turnaround thing. We're like zipping up our coat, zip, getting that kettlebell nice and tight. A little bit tricky to not have that thing clunk on you. Keep it close. And doubles, if you have double dumbbells, probably again outside the knees. All right, and then we're gonna do 20 plank transfers. We want a smooth transfer of power here. That's what everybody wants in a plank. So what that's gonna look like is I'm gonna be over my weight. You probably can't see it very well because it's black on black here. But I'm gonna reach under and pull that weight across. Then I'm gonna do the same thing going the other way. Reach under and pull. So it might be tempting to reach out with the hand that's closer and push it. That's not really what we're going for. We're going for the opposite hand, reach under, pull, reach under, pull. So it can happen pretty quickly. Maybe this is easier. And it doesn't have to be far. You don't have to go like way out to the side. But from our plank, reach under, pull across, reach under, pull across. You can do that with a dumbbell, a kettlebell, your sandbag, whatever you want. I would recommend wider feet, narrower hands. That's always going to keep you more stable if you're picking up your hands. If you're out here, you're like side to side every single time you do this like that. That's not the goal. Our goal is to be rock solid as we move that thing side to side. Smooth transfer of power. And then we're going to do 25 sit-ups. If you have an ab mat, great. If you have a yoga mat that you can kind of tuck into being your ab mat today, great. Reaching to the ankles is kind of full range of motion, CrossFit style. You could also do just some crunches here. 25. All right. How we feeling? Ready as heck? Any questions before we dive head first, hands first into this workout? Can you say them all again? Yeah. 10 push press. Into 15 squat cleans. Yeah. Into 20 plank transfers, reaching across. Into 25 sit-ups. 12 minutes. So rinse, repeat for 12 minutes. What do you think? You ready? Y'all ready for this? Go ahead, turn your music up if that's what is going to get you through this. Counting down in 10 seconds. Starting with those 10 push press. I'll talk through the first round. And then I won't talk as much. 10 push press. Ready, set, go. $15 squat cleans. Again, you can do these from a hang position. If you want to try to take them all the way to the floor, great. It's up to you. Take your time on these. 10 push press, 15 squat cleans. Should not be super easy. Break them up as you need. Woo. Super spicy. Nice, everybody, looking good. Oh my gosh. Those were spicy, yes. Nice there, nice full squats there. Remember, hands narrow, feet or knees wide. 20 plank transfers. $20 total. So every time that weight passes under you, great. If you want to do shoulder taps instead of that transfer, great. Remember, feet or knees wide, trying to keep those hips really still. Nice. Then into your 25 sit-ups or crunches, or if there's another abdominal focus move that you want to do that feels really good to you, go for that. Nice, Marit. Nice, Nick. Looking strong. Nice, Jen. Woo. Nice, Kira. Good speed. Nice, Emily. Ooh, Emily's so fast. Looking good. Nice. Right back into it. 10 push press, 15 squat cleans, 20 plank transfers, 25 sit-ups. Nice. Again, this should be hard. Break it up. Rest when you need to. Holy cow. 4 in, 8 to go. We're a third of the way through the time. Oh, that's a lot of front squats, turns out. Nice, Jen. Good power, good rebound. Nice, Mart. You are burning up. Nice, Emily, burning up. Woo. Nice, Nick. Keep those feet nice and wide. Try to be still as you can. Nice, Emily. Nice power on that press. Nice, Beth. Good speed. Good control. Looking good. Nice position with that elbow up and down. Yes, Jen. Those squat cleans are brutal. I agree. I agree. Nice, Sarah. Good control. Good patience on that squat clean. Nice, Mark. Nice full squats. Looking good. Nice neck. Ooh, nice depth in that pull. Nice quick turnaround into that squat. Beautiful. We are a little less than a third left to go here. Ooh. Nice, everyone. Looking so good. You can only be where you are. Woo. Do the best work you can here in this final quarter. Nice, Emily. Nice, Marit. So fast, so strong. Looking good. Woo. Yes, way to keep moving, everyone. 2 minutes here. Nice, Jen, looking good. Strong. Way to go, Beth. I know you're working hard down there. Woo. Nice, Emily. Nice, strong pull. Nice, strong squat. Finish strong here. Less than a minute to go. 30 seconds. Finish strong, everybody. You got this, Nick. Right back into it, 20 seconds. 15. 10. Yes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ah. Woo. Yeah. Ah. Woo. Yes. The CrossFit Games 2022 are calling to you. That's what I always picture for myself. You know, it's fun to have fantasies. Oh my gosh. Nicely done, everybody. Whew. Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. Carrie had to go. She said, that was tough. Thanks, everyone. Oh, mobility of the moment. We just have a moment here. If you do have to go, please feel free to unmute yourself or sign off in the text. Double pigeon is what we at Solcana sometimes refer to butterfly pose as. So if this is a thing you can get into, great. Ooh, yes. Yeah. I'm going to show you, of course, me being me, I have to show you a modification that I think is better. This is actually a great variation of like a forward fold. I think the best thing to do here is to try to do a little bit with your back neutral. Then we actually use this position to round through the back, inhaling into the low back to round while thinking about lengthening out through the top of the head. So you can, if you anchor on your feet, you can do some good activation into rounding the spine. If you have acute back pain, rounding as deeply as you can into the back is not the best thing. But for most of us, lengthening those muscles back there is going to be beneficial. And we want to be able to do that. We don't want to do it when we're loaded dynamically or with heavy weights or whatever. But we do want to be able to do it to some extent. So just taking deep breaths into that low back as you lengthen out the top of the head versus collapsing down and just letting the weight of your head and shoulders just like collapse everything in on itself. You want to think about like we have a ball here and we're rounding over it. Okay, that's just basic. That's just some basic stuff. Legs up the wall. Butterfly variation is just one of the nicest things you can do for yourself. So this is legs up the wall. Just hanging out here is wonderful. If you don't have a wall, you can put your legs on a couch and have your knees bent. That's okay too. Something to get your legs up. But then you probably could do this variation. And I can move my butt a little closer. And once I pull my feet down, they kind of lock in place here because I have shoe rubber on paint. It's just going to lock me in. And then I'm totally free to use my hands to press my knees back towards the wall a little bit. The other thing I can do is I can just place my hands there and then I can press my knees back against my hands, activating those hip muscles, activating the inner thighs. I can take that deep breath into the hips, hold for 3, 2, 1, then long slow exhale as I release that tension, allowing my hands then to win the tug of war and push my knees back towards the wall a little bit. So then if I need more, I just walk my hips a little bit closer. I can only get so close, but then I can sort of reset where my feet are. I can do that same thing again. Hands, pressing my knees against my hands, deep breath into the hips. Hold for 3, 2, 1, long, slow exhale. As I allow the hands to then take over and open that butterfly pose just a little bit more. My back is supported in a neutral position. So not only am I getting a nice stretch through the hips, but I'm getting that nice stretch through the hips while having my spine in the position that I want it to be in for most of the things that I'm going to do with my body, kind of in exercise and in life. All right, that's it, friends. You killed it. It's dead now. The workout is dead now. Way to go.